Welcome back everyone, Mariah Monetize here, and in today's video, we're gonna be going over the price of Bitcoin and where I see it going in the short term and the long term. So if this is your first time here, I started buying crypto back in 2017 and I have stuck with it through the bear market, and congratulations to all those who have stuck through it and are now enjoying everything that's going on here in the bull market. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna go ahead and start on the monthly chart, and then I'm gonna back down all the way down to the minute chart. So on the monthly here, we can see that last month closed on a red 9. And this is the thing. So we are in technically price discovery mode when it comes to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has never been at these levels before. So what is price discovery? At its core, price discovery involves finding where supply and demand meet. In economics, the supply curve and the demand curve intersect at a single price, which then allows a transaction to occur. So what that sort of means is that Bitcoin is finding its new ground. We have seen it be extremely volatile. We saw it go down to about 27,800 and 36 hours later hit a new all-time high of about 35,800. When it comes to Bitcoin, it's really hard when it continuously hits all-time highs to predict where it's going to stop. But what I can say is that the monthly chart is ultimately looking overextended. But when it comes to the current environment of cryptocurrency, it doesn't necessarily always matter. And that's because we're seeing hedge funds get in. We're seeing big institutions get into Bitcoin. And that just changes the environment completely to where we're seeing these huge $5,000 swings. We're going up thousands of dollars in a day. It will reach the point where we will have $10,000 swings in a single day. So be ready for those. Let's go and take a look at the weekly chart. The weekly chart also is looking quite overextended as well. Let's go ahead and go down to the daily chart. This is the reason why, considering Bitcoin and its all-time highs and the current environment, it's sometimes hard to pay attention and look at the charts and see value there. And that's for a specific reason. One thing I've noticed with how Bitcoin behaves is that when Bitcoin hits, for example, when it hit $20,000 back in 2017, it was extremely volatile and it corrected sharply down from $20,000. And what I'm noticing, for example, with Bitcoin now at $35,325, and this is Wednesday, 10:11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Wednesday, January 6th, what I can say is that when Bitcoin usually hits a top, it's rejected fiercely from that price level. And the fact that Bitcoin hit 35,800 and wasn't necessarily sharply rejected and is now back near that all-time high from yesterday, in my opinion, is a very bullish signal for Bitcoin. So looking at the 12-hour chart, we see a potential for some upside here. We got a red 9 here. We saw a few candles of consolidation. And then as soon as this green 2 goes above this green 1, it's going to be super bullish. So the high of this candle is the high of yesterday, which was $35,868. And as soon as this green 2 goes above that, it's going to be extremely bullish for Bitcoin. The 4-hour chart is looking a bit on the toppy side. You can see here that this moving average gave it some support. It continued upward, and then we could be also seeing some consolidation on the 4-hour and then more room for upside. But overall, I think Bitcoin looks tremendously, tremendously bullish. And if I wasn't in Bitcoin right now and I knew what I know, I would be absolutely getting into Bitcoin. You could see here, the high of this green 1 candle was 35,189, and the high of this candle was $35,349. So this is the 1 hour is super bullish on Bitcoin. Let's go and take a look at the 30-minute chart. Still some more room from upside. A higher low here, which is looking good. Let's take a look at the 15-minute chart. 15-minute chart is looking really good, actually. Higher low right there, which is looking very bullish for some potential upside. Let's take a look at the 5-minute. 5-minute also looking quite bullish, and the 1 minute chart looking like it's going to pull back a bit. So with these particular moving averages that I use, you frequently see a pullback to right above the blue moving average. And so if we see that act accordingly, then we could see a pullback in the near future down to 35,216, which is, when you're looking at hundreds of dollars, this is the problem right now, is that when you're trading Bitcoin, Bitcoin has to move more than approximately $100 for your profit, or for your trade to be profitable, because of the fees. So just a tip for anyone, I believe the lowest fees I have been able to find out there are on Coinbase Pro. So that might be a tip for you if you're trying to find the lowest fees possible. If you know fees that are lower than Coinbase Pro, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I think depending on how much you trade, you can get it down to the average person, maybe a 1/10 of a percentage. And you could just see here that Ethereum's done really well overnight as well. Link is on a complete tear. Tezos is finally doing good. It's about time. I've been holding a good amount of Tezos for a long time here. And Polkadot also exceeded $10 today. So I had someone text me today and they asked about Bitcoin and my thoughts, and it's people texting me with just so much regret that sold in the last like 2 years when Bitcoin was down, and they just completely wrote it off. And I think it was crazy how many people wrote off Bitcoin. I absolutely didn't. I was been a believer since day one. There's only been one single day that I doubted Bitcoin. It was the day it hit $3,000 last, was it 20, what year was it? Either 2020 or 2019, when it flash crashed down to like 3,500-ish. And I was like, oh shit, this could be the end. Like this could potentially go to zero. But ultimately that was the day that I should have bought it up. So if you ever have that feeling, just buy it up on days that you're absolutely terrified of purchasing it. But anyways, just to kind of give you guys a rough estimate, my portfolio is allocated to 80% Bitcoin, 10% Ethereum, and then the other 10% is mixed up between like DOT, Tezos. I have a small amount of Nexo, Polkadot, and no Litecoin, and Link as well. So that's just a disclaimer there on what I'm holding, which could potentially create a bias on the things that I say around Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So that's all I have for you today on this price analysis of Bitcoin and where I see it going. But you know what, I want to go ahead and take a look here, take a closer look at the 1 hour, because I think that's going to tell us the most information here. I see, let me go back to Bitcoin. So I do think that we are going to make a new all-time high in the next 7 to 12 hours. So sometime by the end of the day here, I see us blowing past 36,000. And I think that by the end of the month, it would not be that shocking to see a $45,000 Bitcoin. So when people say it's not too late, I still think that we are going to see between $80,000 and $100,000 sometime this year, and easily probably $45,000 by the end of January. So that's all I have for you today. As always, go out there and create a portfolio that you love.